I feel like a Lissandra answer would make a lot of sense. I love Lissandra Viego. It's a really strong combo. The fact that you have that point and click lockdown to set up a reset, you both get resets as well. Really potent. We're gonna see what Aki is gonna go for. Looks like they're trying to deliberate a jungle pick. Lee Sin makes sense. It's still available. Why not? We'll see if the Lissandra comes out for scout. That is the expectation. I do really love it with the Viego, as I said, and then probably gonna prioritize an AD carry here, unless they're like super set on picking up a support. And they actually go in a completely different direction and pick up a top laner for Flandre, taking the Gnar. So we'll see what OMG respond with.
You know, I was seeing Aki hover those assassins. It's something they did try out earlier in the season. It did not work out for them, so I'm glad to see him go away for that one. A little throwback to the hover there, but it's the Gangplank response for OMG as we round out the first phase.
Like, this makes sense, right? And it's a decent pick, and you have the oranges against the stun from Gnar and the stun from Sandra. But I was really hoping he'd bring out something wacky again. That is just, you know, that is the hope. Bring out the Yone into the Gnar would have been cool. But we get both teams, interesting enough, no bot lane pickups in the first rotation. That is quite rare. Normally we see, I mean, particularly in the spring season, it was like mid jungle AD were often secured in the first three. Sometimes support was thrown in there. By the way, looking towards AD carries, Samira banned away from Abel, Oblivious Speciality, Kalista banned away by OMG. There is still Lucian, there is still Ezreal. We do end up dropping a bit down in terms of AD carry tiers. There's Aphelios, which obviously Viper played last game, and there's no Shyvana to go against him this time. Jinx, there's still options. OMG gonna go with that Lucian ban. EDG, maybe Ezreal. I feel like it's probably the thing Abel's most likely to play in this situation.
I think that EDG themselves showing a lot of respect, especially after losing the first game in the series. I would think they would need to, but as well as just making sure that if they are going to be on blue side, they're still taking away a lot of the comfort picks that could come through for OMG. And when you're looking at OMG, right, we were talking about wanting to see some of that comfort, want to see some of that playability for them, and it comes through those kinds of picks. So the run out of final ban for EDG, they'll take that one away from Cold, and they'll hopefully wait for a couple of spicy picks for their own right, because OMG are on the table right now.
I think, oh, they're going for the Nautilus already. I felt like counter pick support would be more important, especially since EDG already have Scout for engage, so you could lean in pretty much any direction. We'll see what EDG opt to go for in this situation. If they try and counter the Nautilus or just go for like an exchange in terms of picking something like a Leona. And what AD carry they'll go for. The Aphelios is open again, but the Ezreal's there. They could take the Ezreal themselves, and they could even pair up with something like a Braum. This is why I felt like the blind Nautilus was a bit questionable, because you can go Ezreal Braum, pretty strong, safe lane, hard to punish, and the Braum's a good matchup into the Nautilus. Again, you have engage from Lissandra. You don't need your support to be primary engage, so you're pretty comfortable in this situation. Now OMG, they don't have the Ezreal for Abel. You know, they have the Nautilus, but the AD carry pool has been trimmed significantly, and there's not many picks that can really match the range off this Ezreal either.
I'm really wondering what they end up going for. We did see the Kai'Sa earlier on today. There's a lot of burst potential and a lot of the picks that are still on the table. You still have the likes of the Xayah that we've seen creeping up as well, but I feel like that's just not the response you're going to want into this kind of setup. And it looks like they're just going to go with damage profile. They're going to go with the Tristana here as the final pick for OMG.
So, I mean, in theory, like, Tristana and Kai'Sa are both good into Ezreal, but the problem is the Braum. This is why I picked the Nautilus initially is the issue, because the Braum, like, if you jump onto Viper, like, Meiko can block the bomb application, he can block you stacking the bomb, he could do so much to mitigate that. It's the same into Kai'Sa, so I'm not super convinced about this matchup for bot lane. I feel like mid jungle, EDG have the edge. Top lane, Shanji's going to be fine, but it's more for scaling matchup. So I think EDG are really happy with that comp. And not just because the enemy team doesn't have Shyvana.
I would say that's a good starting point, though, at least from that first game. But in all actuality, I just feel it in my bones at this point. Aux, we are going to 6. EDG on the blue side, feeling very confident in the draft that they were able to grab. And again, it still does come down to execution a lot, but you could see where things got tilted off last game and why things maybe snowballed in favor of OMG. And this time, reset situation, no Shyvana, as we already mentioned a couple times. It does feel like EDG have the moment to strike back.
Yeah, I think they put themselves in a better spot. Be interested to see how things pan out. You know, they have good matchups on the entire bot side of the map. Really, though, junglers is going to be a massive thing, right? So Lee Sin, into the Viego this time, but we saw what Aki was able to do, how he was able to snowball the game. If he finds opportunities once again, that could be the real difference maker in this one.
I will love to see us go all the way to 6 games yet again. The gameplay for this second series has been very fun so far. We've only had 1 game of the best of 3. But as game 2 kicks off, EDG want to push us the distance against OMG. Can they do just that? We'll have to find out very soon. Early lines of scrimmage established, early vision from cold towards the top side of the map. But OMG finding themselves on the red side. I feel like that's been a huge difference, at least in terms of what we've seen so far tonight. And again, I know I've highlighted it a couple times, but it feels different. I don't know what it is. It's just the blue side buff. Whatever it ends up being, it just feels like teams have control over the map.
I mean, I think a big thing with blue side is when you come out the ban phase, like think about how this ban phase went. OMG, they had to ban on red side a bunch of broken stuff like Zeri, Wukong, right? That you kind of just have to ban, whereas EDG have more flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. The flexibility is king in a lot of situations in League of Legends, but it will be opposite.
Too much stuff to ban, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of a similar issue we had at MSI, where like, you know, so for example, when we looked at the T1 RNG series, RNG had a bunch of picks that they were really happy with, like things like the Galio, the Nautilus for Ming, the Viego for Wei, right? The Kai'Sa for Gala in the right situations. All these picks really favorable. Gwen for Bin as well. But then there's still things like the Wukong that red side had to ban, the Lucian that red side had to ban. It's like being on red side when there's a lot of strong power picks. You sometimes have a big debt to pay in terms of your bans because like you don't want to leave Zeri open because that singular pick can be game winning, right?
Yeah.
And then it just means when a team's on blue side, like I said, EDG target ban, they didn't, all the stuff they banned was very targeted, not typical first rotation bans. And so they had a lot more freedom in this one. And that's kind of why I feel like blue side is strong at the moment. Obviously in a meta that's more focused on counter picks and there's less like super broken stuff that's like game winning off like one pick, then red side tends to fare better.
Let's see if that still works out in favor for EDG. You can imagine the disappointment if they are the first team to lose today on blue side. But I'm sure they will continue to cross their T's, dot their I's at this point. And I think we saw the early advantage, at least in terms of trading for Abel and Cole, but you can also see the response that comes from the Braum pickup and from Meiko and Viper in bottom lane. Jiejie looking for the early path here towards top, wants to punish Shanji for that dragon game last time. Nice little engage there. The wallop is not available because he's only level 2. Shanji will flash. That'll be a return gank at some point here.
Yeah, and if you look at the way that Jiejie pathed, he actually did it so he can loop back around.
Nice
pretty heavy
buffer.
trade coming in bot.
That was a good buffer, but already you see the detriment that this bottom duo can do. It can put you in, rather, against OMG.
I mean, the problem is if you're not all in on Trist, like all you're doing is just perma pushing the wave, and EDG will easily pick it up. You can't even attack the tower because if you start attacking the tower, then Braum puts his shield up and you take aggro. So just not a fun situation to be in overall. Nice Q there onto Abel and able to follow up the damage. And then, yeah, like I said, the trade pattern of Tristana is very simple. You jump on someone, right? You put your E on them, you stack it up, it blows up. And Braum just completely disrupts that. So I found it really weird that they picked Tristana into the Braum, but I expect EDG are going to have a fine time scaling up in this matchup.
They will be fine and dandy. They continue along the straight and narrow path here. We got to see early Dragon focus. Last game, we got Dragon coming up this time around as well. 45 seconds. But it's just a little bit of that early game prowess here as EDG. They take a heavy trade this time around. And Aki is here just in time. Cold, not really having to re-engage here. Flashes for the stun. They might be in trouble. This is a Braum under tower. You can't do that. The force shot comes out, stunned there. Aki is now going to die. And first blood for Viper and EDG. He wants more. He goes for the flash. One more auto. He can't get it here. Does he get it? Abel, one auto attack onto him, but Cold survives.
I mean, that was just such a rough play. Like, you're playing into a Braum Ezreal.
Really gonna
super
back
safe
right
bot
there.
lane. Super. Oh, no.
Is he really going to back right there? Oh, my God.
Apparently
okay. So. You know what? Stick to the nomenclature. Oh, my God.
EDG just kind of dismantling with this Ezreal to already have this early lead. Oh, it was just such a botched play. And you can feel it's over 4. So you have the flank angle, but the problem is Braum, not the easiest target to burst. Abel doesn't even connect on him initially. Gets the jump away here. And then Aki comes in, but waits so long to come in on the Sonic Wave. The flash from Meiko means the damage actually doesn't even connect. Really nicely played, although he obviously doesn't pull Aki deeper in the tower. And then Aki's like, oh, I'll save my support. No, you won't. You'll just die. Viper tries to go for the play, just slightly off it in terms of damage, but Coldman just walk it back at that point. Just walk it back. Look at the animation. He's jumping the swag on them and they just die.
Yeah. Questionable decision making coming out early on from OMG. Not exactly what we would have expected from them, as they had a pretty strong game 1 performance. But hey, maybe it's just a little bit of that pracky needed. You don't want to push it to 3 games at this point. It feels that way, as a huge CS lead in mid lane. Decent CS lead in top lane as well, and bottom lane is looking worse for wear for OMG at this point.
Yeah, it is not in the best spot right now. Aki's looking for the scuttle. Scouts in the vicinity, but Jiejie's nowhere near, so he should just secure this. But yeah, we've got a big lead mid and bot now, and even top as well. Flandre. You know, there was that gank that obviously was a contributing factor, but all 3 lanes just winning for EDG. And Creme has cleanse here, so shouldn't die.
Yep, that at least doesn't have to use the cleanse. Use the spear rush. A little bit shorter of a cooldown there. A little bit of mobility utilized.
Unfortunately, the problem is he doesn't burn the ultimate from Scout. And the thing is, like, if you get caught by the ultimate of Scout, it obviously leaves that slow on the ground. You probably have to flash, you know, if you don't have Spirit Rush available. Doesn't mean there's potential setup there. So it's a nice play from EDG. They don't burn much, and they just get Cream's ult. He's already down in lane. He's now not going to be able to fight. He's now not going to be able to contest something. So EDG just say, cool, we'll take Dragon. Thanks very much.
Early Dragon stacking a little bit later than last game, but for EDG this time around would be nice to have in terms of direction of pacing for them. And I think when they start moving around the map, when we start getting this movement for the Rift Herald here in about 35 seconds, it'll be big. And I would expect
I mean,
a little bit of early movement up that way.
EDG definitely appreciating how much easier it was to kill that dragon than the one we saw last game. We do see a gank coming up here from Aki. He has Flandre has spotted him, but he is in Mega, so this might be tricky.
Cannon Barrage going to get the slow, the kickback. He has to walk through the bush here, but it's the barrel that'll seal his fate.
Really nicely played from Aki. He doesn't have to use his flash, but manages to catch out the Gnar and kick him backwards. Scout trading heavily onto Creme, but still, again, not burning those summoners, but Creme now, well, he's going to stay around. But isn't really going to be able to contest. The problem is, you stay around, you're low on mana, you're low on health. That means EDG know they can just go for Herald, right? They know Cream's not going to be able to contest it. Aki and Shanji are resetting, so EDG get everything they want, despite the fact they lose their top laner.
Yeah, and you could see Shanji was kind of moving down just in case they wanted to make a move to contest the Rift Herald, but it's just the simple game plan so far from EDG. Take advantage of good timings and take advantage of getting early prowess in terms of objectives. I think it's a nice start for EDG. Still a lot left to go. True Shot Barrages, level 6 is coming across the board here. And I think for a little bit longer, EDG are going to be scary on this bot lane. I don't think that there's a chance that Abel really finds the advantageous trade that he wants in terms of this bottom lane, because Meiko has just been so dang strong on the Braum. And it's the pick that, in essence, you've talked about so much, but it's been so integral to this bottom lane.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, like, we saw a limited amount of Braum last split, which I thought was a bit weird, because, like, we had so much Leona and Nautilus, and it felt like there were a lot of Braum windows that you could look for, but people just weren't really playing it. And I guess part of it was they wanted their supports to be able to engage, but especially when we had that, like, high agency mid laner meta, like, if you have things like Lysandra that can find their own engages, like, you're not relying on Meiko for it. He can be follow-up, and it's so good in matchups like this, where, like, Abel just cannot function because there is a Braum on the enemy team blocking everything he does and just preventing it.
Yep, it's the CC game to some extent. I will say, if you're looking at the CC game, it's looking a lot finer for EDG.
Hold off on the CC game. Look at the item game, by the way. Viper already
No
with the Triforce, man.
It's sub 10 minutes, my dude. Oh my goodness, that's incredible.
well, here's the upside, is that his base AD won't be that high this early in the game.
True.
So,
there you go.
you know,
it's the bright spots. It's the bright spots.
Yeah, not too much of an optimist on that one. And I'm interested to see where the Herald will go down. It obviously has been picked up by Scout, so maybe... Oh, can't you see the play here? But Abel should be out.
He's already used it, though, so now he might be in some trouble. Yeah, he tries to sidestep. Buster shot nicely used. It's not enough to get Abel. Oh, the little sidesteps, but it's the flash burn.
Okay, the downside of this situation that Scout has the Herald is you'd have loved to just throw it down bot there with no one to defend from OMG. Possibly could have threatened the tower. That being said, Shanji has Cannon Barrage, which does make it a bit more difficult. You can thin out the wave. And that Viper, you know, Triforce proc should just be able to pick up a plate here.
Such a big wave. I'm trying to get Abel down here as fast as possible, but decent amount of CS going down, and he's already down 20 CS as well. Aki wants to find something top. Flandre just got out of Mega Gnar. Cannon Barrage in. Flandre kickback. He has to walk through the Cannon Barrage. That'll be another kill. 0-2 for the top laner of EDG.
And Aki's finding these good angles to punish Flandre to answer on the other side. But the second you see that, you know, okay, enemy Lee Sin's top. That means we can just further apply pressure on this bot wave. Just completely zoning away Abel. He's not even going to touch the wave. And shit, a lot of plates taken top, a lot of gold in this GP.
Trying to get a catch out here. Frozen Tomb is used. Creme having to use his cleanse as well.
Yeah, dude, they spin the cleanse. Nice for a follow-up, but doesn't do anything there and then. But look, think how long Viper's just been here and how long it's been since Abel has been able to actually hit the tower. They're actually going to Herald mid because they don't need to Herald bot because they'll just take the tower with this extra pressure.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the bot lane is a wasteland. Oh, Abel! Those are the little things. You know, those are the little things.
Okay, that's the dub. That's the mental damage to Jiejie. Jiejie is just so tilted now. It's like, okay, next. Done. Can't handle this.
I'm out. I'll take this L.
Yeah, stick one there, but first tower goes to Viper. They got the Herald down mid to thin the health, so second Herald should be able to secure it if they get that. Dragon is up soon, and Viper's TPing back in to move over and help. Hasn't quite got the mana being finished, but it's still very strong. I just don't think OMG can contest here. This is second Dragon for EDG, and we'll see. There is, if you actually look, there's still an extra plate on that mid lane tower. So we'll see. I think Viper wants to walk up and be able to get this gold.
Viper is 2,000 gold over Abel at this point.
There you go.
That is really rough. Be second Dragon secure. It's a full objective, at least focus for EDG and securing every single one so far. Oh my God, what is happening? How? It's been 5 games. We've gotten Ocean Souls every time. I thought it was supposed to be RNG.
The chance of that is so slim, actually, when you think about it.
What if we get all Ocean Souls and all blue side wins? What do we do? Where's the statistics now?
I don't know, man, but like I know we have a lot of LPL days, but like this must be such a, if it is like even chance each one, right? Because there's 5 dragons, so the chance of having this many dragons, like it's been 5 games, is pretty stupendous.
But it is something to come back to later on. We've seen Ocean Dragons be super crucial in both series so far, actually. We do see also item completions coming across now as well. And obviously some big points, the double Everfrost in the mid lane. I'll be looking for those engages, the follow-up to the engages. And I think if you're looking at the side of EDG in this moment, like that's a beautiful setup now. You've got Viper in the mid lane. He can be mobile. He has the True Shot Barrage to answer any side lane aggression, but it's the farm that's going to continue pouring into the pockets of Viper.
And he should have mana immune when he bases because he got that gold from the plate. He should just be able to grab it as soon as he next resets. They have got mid prior and are leaning up towards top to zone Shanji away. And then Viper will just walk bad mid. Will deny him this wave. Don't think they'll be able to take the tower quite now, but just these constant back and forth could be really strong.
I think this is huge from EDG as well because they realize, right, they have gotten a lead for Viper in the bottom lane, but Shanji has been getting a pretty decent lead in the top side as well. So now, having transitioned Viper to mid, they're threatening to punish Shanji at every which way. Aki is threatened here, has to get away with the safeguard there, but it's an interesting pull from EDG, I think.
Oh, Meiko!
Oh, he steals it. He throws up the... Oh, no. Aki You got to get down to your rest of your team, buddy. Jiejie goes over. Flandre turns back. The rest of OMG in the sights of EDG now. Cold flashes away. Creme gets a nice charm there, and EDG back away.
Yeah, a lot used. Flandre having to TP up. And obviously the flash from Cold there. It should be enough though to secure the second Herald for EDG. They can slam that down mid. Oh, contest coming in.
Scout flashes, frozen 2 mana Aki. Cold goes back in. Look at Shanji. Shanji is coming in with the flank. Watch the barrels. OMG is taking the fight front to back. Scout gets caught out, and all 5 members still alive for OMG.
And it's just a pivotal error coming out from EDG. They're clearly the thought process is if we kill Aki, then we'll be able to, you know, secure the objective. But it's the wrong target because Aki is going to have Legend Tenacity probably in this game in his runes with how much CC there is. Has Merc Treads already. Like, did you see how short that stun was that came out? Literally lasted just like a millisecond there. So yeah. Ultimately, Aki ends up surviving, able to dash out of the follow-up with the root because obviously Scout was going to ult into W into Everfrost. And as soon as the commit comes in, and Jiejie ends up out of position, it's like ult, and look how short this is. Tries to get in range for the root, but it's just so quick. And then Jiejie trying to go for the reset gets caught out in a charm, and EDG know they've just lost at this point, have to back away. So a pretty big flub.
It's a really good execution from OMG, though, realizing they've overstayed their hand. They were going for the objective. They were going for complete objective dominance, and then they lose it all. And at this point, you know, OMG find themselves in the lead and in a bit of a driving position here. I still will say, though, you know, double Trinity Forces on EDG, there's still a lot of damage to be done for EDG, and especially for Viper. We've got to keep an eye on him in all of these fights, in all of these next few moments in the setup for this AD carry.
Yeah, Viper's really scary right now. This is when Ezreal's really spiking. Those Mystic shots are going to really hit, and they're setting up for the Dragon. But I apply pressure to this mid lane tower.
Trying to get the tower
and ideally
here.
just get some poking as well. Like, they're close to getting... Obviously, ideally, they would have had the Herald down to throw down and secure it. They don't. And Aki... Okay, don't mess it up this time, Scout. You know he has a ton of tenacity.
He does not pull the trigger on that one. Aki doesn't also just face check the bush there. So that's a good call, I'd say. And back into the defensive positions into mid lane. Both ADCs still just trying to farm it up as we get set up for this next dragon. Would be a sole point for EDG, and OMG just going to give it away.
Yeah, not sure you can really do a ton about this.
We're just going to get the outer tower here. Be a nice little
also
charge.
down a Herald in
with the
response, yeah. 4 members there, they should be able to get this, especially with the Tristana assisting, and you can actually see Shanji pushing in the top lane, threatening that tier 2. So, yeah, Dragon secured for EDG. They're now on sole point, but a lot of work done by OMG.
Well, I think Shanji hit that barrel a little early, but it doesn't matter. Still gets the tower. So big pickups for OMG as they do trade the objective, meaning they will have to force a fight over the next dragon to not give soul to EDG. But it's something they were willing to do in the moment and willing to kind of bet their laurels on.
It's kind of a mixed bag because, like, you get a ton of gold, especially on the Shanji, right, with that tier 2 take. You also get a decent amount of objective map control by taking those towers, but there is a threat of that soul. So OMG have given themselves the gold lead to lean into this next dragon fight and hopefully find favor. And if they win the fight, maybe get Baron.
Viper is still oh so scary, though. Cannon barrage onto the backline here. Jiejie is caught here by himself, and he goes down to Shanji. Abel caught, though. He tries to rocket jump in, and rocket jumps to his life's death. That'll be a nice turnaround for EDG as Flandre gets Meganar, and they're looking to siege.
Competence from Viper here just to keep stepping up. Won't be able to get too much damage on the tower, but the poke is coming out, and you see they're just willing to play around Ezreal's strength at this point of the game. EDG end up trading kills there. And you can kind of look at some of the summoners being flashes down for Flandre, Jiejie, and Meiko. Abel loses his, but this cleanse is still available. OMG favored in terms of those summoners. And bear in mind, that's the thing to take into account. Dragon fight in 3.5 minutes. If you burn summoners like flashes now, you're not going to have them for that. And it can be really significant. It can make all the difference. Like if Nar has flash to get a big ult, knocking them into some terrain.
We get a replay of that re-engage there. Nice timing or the Glacial Fissure from Meiko to stop the charm from really doing much there. And
Buddy.
yeah, I don't know.
Viper blocks, and it's like Meiko blocks the charm for Viper, and then it's just like, okay, now I flash behind Jiejie and let him tank the rest.
Just give him up, man. Just give him up. And we see in that trading pattern, though, Viper is just so strong. I know you mentioned the item spike here, but they're utilizing it so well. And now EDG turning their pressure to top side as they will take another outer tower with Scout.
Yeah, so able to respond a decent amount, some extra gold in. 2K's now the gold difference. And we'll see Viper trying to clear the wave here. It's 2.5 minutes still till that dragon. Setup for it's going to be really important, particularly with like playing flanks as well. If you find good angles for the Mega Gnar, for the Gangplank barrels, for either of these mid laners to land CC, can make all the difference. And I feel like the fact that, you know, as I said, OMG have more summoners, but also there's cleanses. Like, it's a similar scenario where you have AD carry with cleanse, mid laner with cleanse, and top laner with oranges. So that CC from Scout and Meiko as well isn't going to be as relevant, isn't going to be as capable. Yeah. On top of that, Cold has Merc Treads, Aki has Merc Treads, and I think Legend Tenacity with how short that ult from Scout was. It's just not easy for you to make that CC stick. And you have to remember, like, you know, often teams will put a Nautilus in the mix. So you have like Nautilus and Lissandra. So you have knockups and you have stuns. Most of EDGs, in fact, all EDGs, apart from the Braum ult, is stuns, right? That can be cleansed.
See if they can execute to that extent, though. Aki is still on the flank. He's been waiting back here this entire time as OMG
they spotted him.
Now pull the trigger on it. They did see him. He'll back away as well. So we're looking at item completions here, but I feel like the setup is not going to come. You're not going to get the back for Viper just yet before the dragon spawns, unless they're able to get some more priority in mid lane here.
Kind of just turning into an ARAM on this one. You know, OMG trying to make sure that tier 1 mid does not fall down, and Viper and EDG set on trying to make it happen. See if EDG can land any poke. They're the ones who have a bit more pressure in mid lane, so should be able to get the first move into river. And the side wave will be answered by Creme. He sees the wave pushing in, he'll go down. Barrel doesn't connect, so they should be able to get the tower here.
That'll be a nice pickup here as the outer tower falls. That'll be the last one for EDG to take down. And now they're set up in front of the dragon. Oh, Aki gets caught out here. Creme as well. Needs to be careful. Charm connects with the barrels. That's huge. And Abel is right back alive. He's still full health. Kick. And that's Viper down. OMG. Abel gets the reset on the rocket jump. The main damage is gone for EDG. But you still have to be careful. They have Flandre. They got Jiejie full health here. But OMG find exactly what they need.
But it might be a bit too soon. There's teleport available for Scout and Viper. Dragon is up in 9. Viper's up in 19. There's a 10-second window. And as you said, OMG are so low. I think this might be a throw for them if they go for this.
It could be. Shanji misses the barrel. They're just going to go for it. Creme is here as well. He tries to get the Everfrost. This is very dicey. Cold misses the engage. Cold has to flash away. Dragon is secured, so stopping the soul take from EDG. That's huge, but they got to get out of here. Flandre stacking up the Mega Gnar. They got the True Shot Barrage coming across. That's big damage from Viper. And now you got the resets. Flandre's got Mega Gnar. They get another one. And OMG might have stopped the Dragon stacking. They don't stop EDG.
And this is the problem. When the enemy team has 3 dragons, OMG couldn't let it go. They secure it, but they lose 2 members, and now EDG can look towards Baron. This is the cost of letting the enemy team stack up so many. If you mismanage one fight, you have to go all in. Aki is fishing to come into the pit, but there's so much CC. I should think they'll be able to stop him.
Yeah, they're not going to let him into the pit. You got Meiko providing the bodyguard services. And Baron goes to EDG 24 minutes in. A big power spike for the defending world champions.
And at the end of the day, OMG getting a dragon is almost meaningless, right? It just delays your soul. But we can watch a replay of this fight. Some fantastic play by Aki here. Goes in, uses the stopwatch to avoid the Everfrost, and then he gets stunned here, but lands Sonic Wave, and Viper does not expect this. Ends up getting jumped on. The kick flash into the mix, and look at Cold ready to come in with the root auto. Really nicely played from OMG to remove the Ezreal. But then obviously here, OMG just want the dragon to get away. They know they're so low. They're against a Viego. They do not want to hang around. But in the end, when they're trying to run away, the ult from Viper connects on so many. and it just allows them to start chasing down these kills. And Abel goes back to try and ult, and it actually means he gets caught too.
And the AoE from the Ravenous Hydra that had just gotten completed, that extra little bit of whipped cream on top for Viper. Aki just trying to look for the picks on the side again. If he can get a big kick on the Viper, that is a game changer. They're losing base defenses as we speak, right? They lose a tier 2 in mid lane. They're looking to lose a tier 2 in bottom lane as well.
And that's the thing, is OMG has so many more towers than EDG. Now EDG with the Baron could just pick up a bunch of that gold. Aki again looking for the flank, but this is a Lissandra. This is not an easy target.
Gets the kickoff immediately as Abel will have a rocket jump to try to separate the distance. Needs one more on the satchel charge there. The scout gets caught up too. Frozen Tomb buying tons of time. AoE damage. Buster shot back. Jiejie wants to get the resets. He wants to get these kills. Bottom lane. Viper is dead somehow. Jiejie needs to get this to make this work. Aki, they're saving his life right now. It's going to go back in on Jiejie, and Jiejie's left out. The decision making from EDG is scattered. And bottom lane, Shanji comes up big.
What is happening in this game? And I'm just going to say, I said at the start of today, well, at the start of this series, that I thought that Viper was the best AD carry in the world. He does not look like that way this series. He has looked exceptionally rough this game. I don't even know how he got caught out here. Like, you know, Jiejie is moving away. Ends up getting hit by one barrel combo. We see Flandre overextend into mini, and then Viper arcane shifts forward.
Oh, no.
Bro.
Oh, no. He took like almost 100% damage from the cannon barrage there.
I feel like Viper's just trying to make me look stupid because I made that statement earlier, because this has not been a good game.
He survives the level
it gets
up.
Shut down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So rough play from EDG, and this is kind of what I mean. This is a team who are 5-1 in scoreline, and yet this game does not feel clear cut. This feels like an absolute fight to get over the finish line. It's a minute until Dragon. They're still favored, right? They're up in gold by about 1,000. They're looking towards that next Dragon that will secure the motion soul if they can get it. But it looks messy. And Shanji, oh, those barrels do damage. You have to be really careful because they will chunk you out if you get caught in one.
But this is a predicament. OMG are forced into those situations like this. They have to be here early. They have to get vision down. They need to get a better edge against EDG if they want to hope to take a fight. And this is not how you do it. This cannot be how you start off the engagements. And Creme having to use his cleanse early and the Spirit Rush.
Yeah, I mean, they can just wait until the ult times out, and then Creme's effectiveness in this fight is drastically reduced.
Aki is in the bush. We got TP from behind. That will be Scout with the flank. Aki has a flank himself, though. Here comes Scout. Triple root. Aki is waiting. He's trying to get Viper, but the rest of his team, they can't go in. And Viper is now found, but it's Aki who just separates the fight a little bit. You got to watch out for Creme and the rest of the team, though. Viper is doing some serious work. Viper is still alive, and the health bars for OMG are looking worse. You got a 1v1 continuing in the top. Viper going forward. He can't find it. Jiejie is down, but Aki is trying. He can't find Flandre, but guess who can? It's the rest of OMG. It's now at the 3v3 in terms of Meiko is almost dead. Oh my God, Aki's coming in here now as well. Aki, he hits it on the Meiko. Does he go in? Oh, he goes down. His GA is popped. It's a huge Viper fest here. And the rest of OMG need to run away at this point. It's a double kill for the ADC of EDG. Oh, he might get more too. Aki barely gets out and able to survive, but Aki needs to stick around because he's got to steal the dragon. What are they doing? He has smite. He's going to go in. He gets dragged back. He comes back. It's going down. OMG. What is happening? Oh my.
Why did they start the dragon? The jungler respawned. He was on the way. Why did they start it? Just leave it. Wait for your jungler to be here. Oh, but we'll get the replay of the fight, and I'll mold later, but TP comes in from Scout. This initially looks really good for EDG. They end up getting this big AoE into the Mega Gnar. I saw this and I thought, okay, fight done, game done. A nice ult from Mabel creates space, and then Jiejie possesses a Nautilus and just misses the dredge line into a charm. Aki is splitting the fight up so well, and then Viper just keeps not connecting mystic shots. You know, he missed one there on Abel. That one doesn't connect onto Creme. moving forward, misses another onto Creme. Okay, next Mystic shot. Again, misses onto Creme. Keep him count at home, hopefully. Just, it felt like all the skill shots just went hit him from Viper, then finally he gets that one. We don't get time to go further in the replay because EDG want to fight again.
They do indeed, and they're setting up for it here. It's looking a little bit dicey for OMG. All right, so won't get the engage at least. It's a little bit close, though. And you can feel the tension in the air for OMG. One overstep, and they just lose their entire base, but one catch out, and they could win the game.
But looking for the window. Aki has a Sonic Wave, and we know how deadly it can be if he connects and gets a kick onto Viper. But he won't follow it now. Both teams just posturing around this Baron area. It's a while until the next dragon. And OMG have gained a lot of ground in that regard. 2 dragons to 3. Favor VDG. Viper now has the Zereldas, so if he starts connecting onto a target, hard to get away.
Really is. You can see there Cold having to dip, dive, duck, and dodge away his Spider-Man skills. But pings from EDG onto Baron. They're forcing the fight.
But they're against the GP. This is level 16 Shanji, 4 items. If they get trapped in the pit against this,
there's pings coming in.
It's not going to be a fun time.
They're just trying to bait the fight. They're trying to bait the rest of OMG to coming in. Meiko trying to separate the line. Baron is getting really low, though. It will get reset here. Yeah.
Have to be concerned about that as well. I mean, OMG approach slowly. They don't even burn the cannon barrage. If they were really scared, they'd burn that.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. 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 Shanji. Oh, Glacial Fisher misses. Creme with the spear rush over the wall. It's a little bit zealous there, I would feel like. A lot of cooldowns being used from both sides.
Just feels like so many skill shots aren't connecting from EDG, and I feel like the game would be done. You know, a few more Mystic shots hit, that Glacial Fisher hit, and they killed Shanji.
Just rinse and repeat.
I think that would be game done. They'll clear out the vision once more. They still have the cannon barrage. That's the pivotal thing. So if it ever becomes truly desperate, OMG can just slam that down, and they get information, and they'll do a ton of damage to them as well. Now is the time.
They need to pull it off here now. It's down low. It's getting low. They're not even in the pit yet. Cannon barrage comes through, but Aki is just taken out. The play calling was not there for OMG, and EDG get out scot-free.
I don't understand it from Aki. It's like he saw the Baron at 1,000 HP, looked down at his keyboard, took a moment, and then pressed his Q button, but he was so late to get in the pit. Like, I'm never going to be able to steal it. Like, if you're that late, just don't go in. But yeah, secured by EDG, they managed to find it, they managed to pull the trigger, and ultimately, OMG aren't able to respond in time. We actually have an interesting final item just picked up by Viper. He's gone for the Humble Glaive, which, you know, I think with a build like this, having a lethality item is decent, but also the utility of it, being able to clear out the vision, quite potent.
Also, two full items over Able at this point. Like
I mean, to be fair, some of those are cheaper items, but like Able doesn't have Infinity Edge. We look at Shanji though. You saw how much damage he just did to that wave. And sure, it's a minion wave, but he is starting to hit like a truck if these barrels do connect. Honestly, it makes me feel maybe Viper would have been better suited if he picked up a Frozen Heart just to protect against that damage. But yeah, Creme forced to ult away. 45 seconds to that dragon. Once more, we've sang this tune many times. Mazel is going to be potential Ocean Soul for EDG if they don't flub it.
Yeah, they definitely have everything going for them at this point. It would be a nice pickup here. They've gotten 2 taken out from under their noses so far in OMG. They want to make it a 3rd. They're trying to look for priority in mid lane. Again, a minute and a half still on the Baron buff, so EDG are sitting pretty at this point. And now they've got the CC on the Cold potentially. The re-engage from OMG though, he's about dead. Aki is singled out on the side as well. Scout's not even there, and now he shows up, and all the Frozen Thralls start popping, and all of OMG start popping. Viper is a double kill. He's looking for more. He can't get the 3rd, but it's a kill for Flandre, and this has to be a big soul for EDG, but even bigger, a potential win and a lengthening of this series.
EDG managed to find the fight. The skills connect and they can close it out, but that game was not convincing in the slightest. Aki and Creme there to try and defend, but I think this is done and dusted.
I knew it. I called it from the very beginning of the day.
Viper?
It's feeling like a 6-game day in the LPL. Wouldn't have it any other way, and we're going the distance. EDG had to sweat. They had to work for it, but they will bring us to game 3 of this final series.
And there's two sides of the coin, right? EDG managed to close out the series. I mean, not the series, sorry, the game, and equalize the series. OMG did a good job to make it difficult, but EDG, I just feel like so many times it was so straightforward what they needed to do, and they just didn't. It just felt like there was repeated moments where I'm like, why? What are you doing? What is the game plan? Or like just mechanical errors, like Meiko's ult missing, the fact that like Viper missed 7 mystic shots on that replay or something like that. It's so weird because like, especially Viper, because Viper has been probably the most consistent player, I would say, maybe since they won the World Championship and came back to the LPL. He looked horrific in that game. There was definitely moments where he looked good, but like the level I expect from him and the level he was at was so different. I have to credit, though, the team managing to find the win in the end. I think Flandre, despite the fact he was bullied out early, looked pretty solid on the Gnar. But yeah, messy game. And OMG, you know, as much as they lost that game, I would feel confident going into game 3 if I was them. If you come in with a better draft, I could easily see you pulling ahead in this one. If you go back on a blue side, they don't have as much freedom to ban, pick the Shyvana up, the immortal god queen. Why not?
I was just about to say, man, I was feeling the 6-game day at the beginning of the day. At this point, I'm feeling the 6 Ocean Souls and the 6 blue side wins. I don't know what to say. It just feels like an inevitability at this point. And it has been such strength from the teams that we see on the blue side today. It has been monumental, right? And even if there were some very difficult situations for EDG in that last game, they got the lead early. They got some of the advantages that they needed to close out the game.
Yeah, and it's such a weird